Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to realMyst Masterpiece Edition. That's the name of this game. I sat here for like 30 plus minutes waiting for the sun to come up. It seems such a ridiculous thing. It's still really dark, even though I am pretty sure the sun is out. It's like if this was a game that you didn't have to do anything, it would make more sense. I've there's the sun right there. It's coming up slowly as and surely. Yeah, it would make all the sense in the world if you just had to like kill monsters, do any kind of basic thing, shoot zombies. Day-night cycle, not really gonna affect that much. Maybe hurt your ability to shoot at certain things and all of that, but uh, when you have a puzzle game and you need to see the elements of the puzzle, being unable to see those elements of the puzzle is rarely a good thing. Even if it is some kind of perspective game, certainly Anti-Chamber is a heavy perspective game where you have to manipulate your body. That's fine and all, but it, when you manipulate your body like that, you usually do it. Interesting. I was looking here to see if this counterweight might have some Easter egg on it. Uh, you have control on how you manipulate your body. I have no control here. All I can do is turn on a flashlight. I can't make the sun go forward and stuff and backwards. Uh, Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. There was a game where you had a night and day ability to make it nighttime, make it daytime. That makes sense. This is just insanity. Pure insanity. We have played almost half the game in darkness, if not pitch black, even with my efforts to wait and not play the game in darkness. Uh, People like to marathon games. I, as a YouTuber, have to marathon games. I can't spend an hour extra in between every hour of recording. That would double the time of just recording. It's I suppose I could probably find some extra busy work to do, but it would mean less actual footage gets aired. Here we've got some new audio. It's windy up here on this third tier. We are looking for the blue page and the red page, and as soon as I turn off the flashlight, I want to turn it right back on. Okay, that's creepy. So crazy brother seems to be here. There's tribal masks. There's a door back here. What's back here? Just another entrance? Anything behind the door? No. And if you place anything here as, I guess, an offering, it would just take the thing and cut off the arms or of the person offering it. Interesting. We've got 5 candles here, probably doesn't mean anything. So, in this world, it feels like the Crazy Brother's not even trying to be cruel dictator to the world. He's trying to be complete and total god of this tribe. Is this a gate? What's the point of the gate? If we were gonna chase something down this way, that would make sense. If this was some kind of booby trap you were trying to make, that would make sense. I guess I've locked. I guess that gate was just to show that he was forcing them to come that direction. And he's speaking some language besides English, but he speaks English to me fine, so that's a little strange. We can see weapons. And we can see a device. And we see the blue paper. Let's see what this does. I wonder if that's a real language or if that's just something he made up. Let's see what this other message is. And that's just a close-up on his lips.
I hope I pushed the right button. Very interesting device, dear brother. I'm not erasing anything important, am I? He is preparing. Remember, take only one page.
He is preparing. Remember, only take one page. And that's the other brother. Interesting. Turns out the achievement for jumping on a bed is actually in this age. So we found the communication between the two brothers that seems to show some level of cooperation that we wouldn't have expected before.
I hope I pushed the right button. Very interesting device, dear brother. I'm not erasing anything important, am I? He is preparing. Remember, take only one page.
Notice how it rotates. So why only one page? Is that because it would be difficult to free somebody if you took more than one page? Here's another area. We'll come back and check that area later. Let's go see what this guy has to say for himself with his second to last blue page returned. Honestly, I kind of wish you could just go back to Myst immediately after this point. That how would you do it? I'd imagine what you should do is you should be able to find the Myst book in each world and then just carry it with you. And anytime you teleported to a world, the Myst book would then just be in your inventory again. Because it's kind of a wasteful effort here to sit here and have to walk just to go to the exit, just to go back. Now, when you get to Uru, which is was supposed to be a massive multiplayer version of Myst, that's practically exactly what you do. Is you have a Myst book that takes you to, well, not Myst, a central hub location, and that central hub location then has a collection of all the places you've found to unlock. It was quite an interesting concept. Unfortunately, massive multiplayer games only succeeded once in the form of World of Warcraft and not really anything else. So now when you buy the Cyan collection on Steam, you get the Uru Complete Collection, which is a single player version of what Uru was supposed to be, which is fine. It's still a very good game, and I think it is the correct best iteration of the concept that we ever saw. I think the puzzles in Myst 3 are better, but the idea in Myst 4 of going to many multiple worlds and potentially getting DLC, which wouldn't have really been a thing back then, makes a lot of sense now. I could see Myst every couple years giving you DLC to a couple new lands, or maybe like every 3 months even giving you a few new lands. It kind of needs an open world editor too, just so people are constantly making expansions to it. Kind of like what Minecraft was, man. If you could get a Minecraft Myst combination, something that looked like Myst, like real Myst looks like, but was server connected and had a huge audience, you might have something there. Although I don't know if puzzles particularly interest that many video game players. Let's see what he's got to say.
My friend. Bring in the blue pages. I see. Convinced the Sirrus is guilty. Pray, do not release him. He will destroy me just as he did. The innocent bystander. I've been wrongfully tricked into imprisonment. And you have observed his unbridled lust for riches. In the 4 remaining worlds. Gruesome plot. It was almost perfect. Final blow to father. You tricked him into believing that it was I who was the murderer. I didn't murder father. Bring me the remaining. Please. A liar. Fooling a liar. Must not be free. The remaining blue pages from the last age of Myst. I must be free. You must free me. I cannot bear it here for eternity. Free me.
It's an interesting thought. He said eternity. Is he immortal there forever? Is he always immortal? It's kind of hard to tell. Not knowing the person, it is possible that they are just by default. Now, let's see. How does one get to Channelwood? You walk down this way, and we've got to go back and get the red page. Not as clear as it probably should be that that is the last one. Oh, the second to last blue page. There's one more to give to him, and then that path is complete. which is, I suppose, the least spoilery way I can say that. Uh, there, we need to get the red pages, and then we'll be done with Channelwood, and we'll be into the music world, which is going to be a little bit difficult for me being tone deaf. Pretty tone deaf. I say that. I don't know if that's a medical diagnosis. I certainly haven't been diagnosed with that, but I I don't think it is actually. But it's certainly going to be a bit of a challenge. It is also the age with the achievements that really require you to get everything perfect. There's three missable achievements, and they all have to do with the final age. Uh, so I'll definitely want to make a save, like in 3 different places, I guess. Down we go. And taking forever. I completely have to admit though, you'd be a lunatic to trust the crazy brother. I mean, it's understandable that you would trust the rich guy, but we've seen evidence. We've seen 2 pieces of crucial evidence that say both the brothers are probably in on it. Uh, in on the murder of their father. We don't know at all what happens to the mother, and you don't get to see that at all, sadly, until the sequel, Riven. Crazy names. Should have just been called Myst 2, definitely. That would have... Alright, so I've got to come over here and switch this before we get up there so the elevator works again. And it looks like we're starting to lose the light again. How can that be the case? It seems like an equal amount of nighttime and daytime happens in this game. It's so silly. So silly. And if I had a brightness, I could adjust for that, certainly. But that's not an option. I could turn the brightness up on my TV and the monitor that I'm using, which is a TV, and I can mess up the configuration there, but I've calibrated that, so I don't want to do that. And I can't turn up the brightness for how you see it, not without going through a lot of trouble. YouTube does have a video editor that would help with those things, but it doesn't work very well, and it doesn't have very many features. I may end up using it, however, to just autocorrect brightness, because then you're not seeing the game as I saw it, and then you'd be left scratching your head. What's he talking about? The brightness is fine the whole time. That's why a lot of video game YouTubers will simply not mention bugs in games or problems with games, and frankly then they stop becoming critics to the games, which is here we can see some broken chairs. If you are not saying bugs and criticizing things you see, there's a lot of issues there. Are you really a critic? Have you received the game on some word that you've promised not to say anything negative? I cannot see in that thing at all. It looks like it's empty. But even shining the flashlight directly in there, I can't see inside that. Why is that the case? You can see the brother's an alcohol loving fellow. I don't want to say alcoholic, but probably. Here is the achievement, jumping on this bed. here's the other part of this. So we've saw the first part of this instructions, and let's see. How could you mix the two together? You can't. In most games, what you do is you pick these two up, they'd be put in an inventory, and then that inventory would respond back to it. But here you just would have to take a picture or memorize it. So let's read this side. I think this is probably the more important bit of information anyways. So switch vault access. Something vault access. Island of Myst. Something in very plain view on Myst. Access can be easily if the simple instructions are followed. First locate all the island marker switches on the island and turn on all of these switches. Make all these switches to the on position. Then go to the dock and turn the marker switch to the off position. Okay. That's what I got from it. If I'm generally guessing that's what it says. That seems like an understandable thing. Notice here when I click, it jumps back to the original position. Shouldn't do that. It should just not allow me to click on this. That is a weird little toy here. Not a lot of these toys. Anyways, we need to get that achievement, so let's go ahead and go to free roam mode for a second. So, we gotta jump on this chair, like getting in the crow's nest, which I got, and then come over here and jump on the bed, which isn't so much jumping as it is simply just standing on the bed because of no jump things. Nothing up here in the rafters. There we go. So I should have gotten the achievement there. So back to classic Myst mode because it works better. We're looking for the red paper though. No mirror. This is game far too old to have a working mirror. Far too old. So I guess there was no red page in this way, so there's a door here. Well, I thought there was a door there. Ah. Wasn't this the drawer we couldn't look in before? And now I found the red page. Interesting. Maybe this was the drawer I was looking in. Yeah, that one is incredibly dark. The other one isn't. Interesting. What a bug. Yeah, so if you notice that your favorite YouTuber isn't mentioning bugs, maybe they don't see it, but you also have to wonder, did they get the game on promise to not say anything bad about the game? Do they never say bad things about games? Are they just 100% positive? Because if that's true, they're not a critic. Maybe they don't claim to be a critic, but they definitely aren't one. I try not to just hate on things for no reason, but I also want to point out the flaws here. One of the major flaws with Myst in its remasters, particularly, is there's just no new ideas and no new people, not enough new people working on it or adding anything really. They're just redoing the same thing over and over again. And I'm glad that this 20-year-old game has a version it can be played on. And I'm glad that they experimented with different engines. But in their experimentations with different engines, they never bothered to make any other games. Really didn't. Cyan has, under their name through partnerships, instead of being masters of their own domain, they've hired out people to just remake the same game. It feels a lot like whenever they started running low on money, which I believe Cyan was at the risk of almost shutting down a few years ago. And whenever they like start to run low on money, they just re-release a new version of Myst. And that's certainly not how you should run a business. You should be ambitious. You should want to create it. You don't paint one painting as a painter and then just make a million copies of it. You make something new. And I'm not sure they really have anything new in their heads. So then, if that's the case, the people at Cyan need to hire somebody with some new ideas. Plenty of independent people could do this. Uh, this is also the case, definitely, for Jonathan Blow. He was trying to make The Witness, which is a game heavily inspired by Myst, all by himself and spent about 6 years on it, and probably, in my opinion, killed himself mentally. It's not physically or in reality, but he probably overexhausted himself horribly trying to make this game all by himself, and eventually he just hired some other people, and it helped him a lot, in my opinion. I think he probably needs to relinquish control of his company to somebody who can keep him more on track and make sure things get done a little bit faster than 6 years, and uh, just manage. Video game creators are not usually good managers, and yet they think they can be, or they don't want to deal with managers, which is something I think we could all probably appreciate, that we don't want to be managers, we want to be the boss. But the problem with that is then you get people like Gabe Newell running Valve, and there's nobody above Gabe Newell telling him to make another game. You get people like uh, the owner and runner of Double Fine, who at one time made great games and now doesn't really do any of it. You get probably the two brothers that started Cyan Worlds, probably not ever going to be able to program or make a game like they made the original Myst. So they need to be idea guys, production guys, but not the bosses, not the managers, because honestly, they've managed their company very poorly. Myst could have been in movies. It could have been in a lot more books. They certainly tried, but they didn't succeed. And there could have been a lot more Cyan games. Cyan could have been in Electronic Arts. It could have been a Ubisoft. It could have been a Blizzard. It could have been an Activision easily. Their game was the best game for a decade. All they had to do is take that hype, make more games for that decade. Every 2 years. That's all they had to do. More games, different styles of games, different things. Let's go ahead and hear what this guy has to say.
With each page I can see more clearly. Soon, free from this horrid prison, this book. You must visit the one remaining age which you have not. Confident that my brother Akhenar is demented. He is guilty. He took advantage of the freedom our father had given us. Akhenar began to I ask you again. Do not retrieve the blue pages. He will destroy both myself and you, just as he destroyed the other pages of Myst. Never will escape. You must simply bring the that I am innocent and he is guilty. This forgotten island long ago. I will owe you my life, and you will be greatly rewarded.
So he's promising a great reward. You can see he's super greedy. He says the brother's guilty still, says that the brother destroyed these books that were other ages of Myst. So think about that for a second. Each one of these burnt books that isn't a journal uh, was another world. So they must not have been specifically like the worlds we are seeing, or the books were hidden in puzzles that just are not in existence on this island anymore. That would be a great remaster of Myst. If all of a sudden you got the Myst and there was this small central island, and then all around it just a gigantic island even further. And it's like, oh, this is the Myst before any of the ages were destroyed. This is the puzzles that just magically disappeared as soon as the book was destroyed. Uh, that would be an amazing reveal if you started over here at the dock and looked out, and instead of seeing ocean, you saw a giant ring, and this was just some tiny little island, just a little starter island. Also, I wanted to point out, in realMyst, this was like graystone. So some of the things they just colored differently. So we read the two instructions, so it only makes sense right now to follow it. This is the switch, and when we follow it, this thing opens, and we have a white page, which is fine. And we can just leave it there. We won't, however, be able to do anything with the white page because we don't have a white book yet. So we still have to move further to the final age. This is the time to save, however. This is the first, because 3 of the achievements are in this final area. So, when we look at the map, you will now notice that because I switched the marker switch off, the entire section here is missing of that puzzle. Doesn't really matter. Here, you can see it better if I don't have the flashlight on. But the next thing we need to go to is here. And let's get our puzzle figured out. See, I don't think you can just take the white page and put it in the book.
With each page.
Yeah, he's just going to say the same thing. So, sadly, that means I'm going to be holding on to the white page until I pick up a red or blue page, and then it will just magically go back to where it was. Maybe I'll lose it when I leave for the next area. That would probably be the case too. I don't know if in 93 there was a possibility people would trust the brother that's not crazy. I'm pretty sure in '93 they wouldn't trust the crazy brother. He is certainly played out completely as a loon. But I've seen too many politicians. 59 volts. It's a shame they didn't do like a 61 gigawatts. Is that the reference to Back to the Future? Yeah. 59 volts is kind of like half of what 120 is in America and a quarter of what you would get in like the most European countries, 240. I I personally think now that so many devices like cell phones and uh, computers mostly step everything down to at most 24 volts, I think houses should just have outlets that send out 24 volts DC. Uh, that would be a lot easier to transform a second time to whatever your cell phone needs to charge. It wouldn't work great for light bulbs if you're still using old light bulbs, but those are practically extinct now in the United States. Hmm. So, one thing I need to do, we'll do it later. Let's open the door first. Yeah. And then we'll get the... Can't do anything with this. That It's kind of a shame. Is I need to go down this way. So, down we go. Open this door, and in we go. So, we've got generators and 2 power outputs. And I've got to figure out how to get both of these, I think, to 59 volts. That does 10. Actually, to get the achievement, I actually need to short out both circuit breakers and reset them both. So, that's one. One has just been shorted out. Switches generator. Power to ship, power. So if it goes over 59, the power to ship breaks. And it's just a little rocket ship. Doesn't really put them in outer space. Just takes you to another age. You can definitely see what these kids were raised in and why they are probably messed up. I mean, if you look here, they were given entire worlds to play in with not enough parental supervision, obviously. So there's a circuit breaker here, and that's not the one that's blown. And where's the other one? I believe it's this way. See, they did add one age, and in adding the one age, there was a puzzle element in this world that wasn't in the original Myst game. I think you'd have to expand the island though if you were going to add dozens and dozens of worlds. And I just think it needs to be more connected. There's one, so now I need to go blow the other one. I really want to do this though, even though I don't believe it's an achievement or anything. I want to go just run on this and see if I can get on top of the building. Nope, you're kind of limited, actually. Hmm. Hmm. This certainly would be faster to play the whole game here. It's just not smooth. I actually worry about that playing a lot of games. It's just like, how smooth is my actions? So we're at 61. Let's blow another one with that. I guess I could probably have taken one off there. I think I just found the solution there. Anyways, oops. So let's go see if we blew the right one or if we're gonna have to do it. Since it's random, there's no way to know which of the two circuit breakers it is. So you may have to run back and forth between this a couple times. If it was a true circuit breaker, it would not actually work that way. Nope, it was the original one again. Because circuit breakers are designed to do one thing, and that's trip after a certain current flow through it that's too high. So if the first one blows before the second one, there's never going to be a case in which the second one blows and the first one doesn't blow first. The only way that could happen is if it was shorted out, if it wasn't working properly. There we go. Circuit. There probably is some industrial usage of a circuit breaker that might blow because of too high of a voltage, but I can't, for the life of me, I can't think of any device that would work that way. Uh, it's like, because you can do really, really high voltage at low current. There we go. So I'm going to assume that got me the achievement. Since I don't have the Steam interface up, it's annoying to see those things pop up even though I am crazily obsessed with them. And we know what the solution is. We stumbled dumbly into it. So there we go. And I believe this does it right there. But I guess I have to go reset another one. Pushing the button to turn it down still blew it. But we know it wants 59 volts. This is a great example of why we should be thankful for playing with the slow classic mode and having that. That wasn't the right one. That's fine. Just all the head bob, all the weaving back and forth. It's smoother when I play with a controller. Just because of the way the controllers work. And there would be no real problem on putting controller input on this game if they just bothered to do it. Also, Myst, because when you're in classic mode, has a great advantage of being exactly what they're trying to do with VR games, because you can't walk around in VR games. You can walk around a little bit and you can turn your head just like this game, but you can't, for instance, if this was a 1-to-1 ratio, this would probably be about 10 feet to get to these two areas, and that means in a 10 by 10 room you would just walked into a wall. So instead, what they try to do is have you teleport yourself. And what are you really doing when you're in classic mode and you're clicking go to this point? You're just kind of being shown this walking animation and teleporting yourself. Now, I'm not sure the walking animation stuff will work with uh, with people. The door is open. Maybe we could have opened this door the whole time. Maybe we couldn't have. I guess I should have tried. So, we've got a device over here, and we've got a keyboard over here. And before I do anything, I need to make another save, because the missable achievement here is that uh, you have to do this perfectly on the first try, which is crazy. So, there is a little bit of help here. In one of these books, if I can find it, is a picture. Not this one. This one is the Stonewood Age, I think. This is it. You can notice there's a lot of stuff just missing here. Just been rubbed out or faded. A lot of backstory too we could have read. I would certainly, in modern times, have all this be told to you. We've not seen a lot of story. We've seen characterization of the two characters and the one warning from the father. And then we have this. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. What can I possibly do to get that information? Well, I can bring out my handy dandy cell phone that's my old cell phone, because I'm using my current cell phone to tell me how long I've been recording. Pull out the camera and take a picture. And take a second picture just in case. And then I've got a easy to see. If I turn off auto rotate, I can even rotate it so it's the right way. Let's see. There you go, rotation locked. Zoom in, and I've got the solution now quickly, at least moderately quickly, in my hand. But of course, it would be cheap to just do that. We need to play the game as it's supposed to be played, and I guess that is technically one way to do it, but we need to see what the device on the other side is. I'll get actually quite lucky here. So, let's see what this is. Dun 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 dun. And I bet I just did it wrong. Do I need to put the code in here? Or did I need to put the code in here? I bet I need to hear the code here. Ah. Yep. So I'll have to get that achievement somewhere else. Almost certainly this is just going to tell me what the code is, and I'm going to have to do it with perfect pitch. So let's play this. Stupid auto rotate, I told you to turn off on my, it's like rotation locked, doesn't want to listen. Okay. This is why you are my old phone and not my new phone. Alright. So this, I've also not played this perfectly if that was the achievement, but I don't think it is. I think I screwed it up earlier. And then this, and then this, and then this, and then this. Hmm. You know what I can probably guess? I could probably count. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we can get the relative value here. And then, so 4 is then 9, 10, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I could probably get the solution here, and then let's see. So this is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then from the location of 4, which is right here, 2 is at 13. Well, just from 4, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So go 7 higher than 4 for 2. Which means this needs to be going here because that's number 1, not this slider. Anyways, 2 is 7 higher than 4. So 1, 2, no, start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 3 is 1, 2, 3 above that. 1, 2, 3. And then 5 is 2 below this. 1, 2. Is that right? Did that sound anything like this? And this is the problem. It's like, I have no idea. I have no idea at all. Does any of this work? The audio didn't play that time. Bugged out. It could all be wrong. It could be all one notch up. It could all be one notch down. It could be that some of them are one notch up, one notch down. And just being totally tone deaf, I have no idea. I, I really have no idea. So, unlike The Witness, where there were sections that you might be tone deaf, you might not be able to solve it. This, in particular, is the only way to beat the game. It's the only way to go further. So we've been running through this whole world, just running like crazy through this whole world, and we've hit the wall that we can't do anything else. There's not a single place in this island that would give you the other pieces. We don't have the information to do this. The time is not changing on the clock, which is nice. Let's go into free range mode for a second. Free range, free roam, whatever. Uh, there's just no cheat around it. You've got to be able to figure it out. Now, you could certainly brute force that. Uh, I tried there, and I certainly could sit here and go back and forth. But there's really no reason to. We've gotten very lucky here, and we've run almost a complete hour. I will load back into my previous save just to the point where we entered here, and then I will put in the combination and hit go, and then almost certainly the Myst book will be right there. And then we can move on to a land that's all about sounds, and I will definitely have a walkthrough for all of that, because these are all the achievements that can be missed. These are all the puzzles that are going to give me difficulty, definitely. Uh, Overall, I like Myst, but this section, I put it off to the end for a reason. It is a pain in the butt. Uh, and if you could just end the game some other way here, if you had the information, it would be really, really nice. But we don't. So, anywho, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. So if that helps out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.